Hi, my name's Anna and I've decided to start documenting my making, so predominantly knitting with some sewing and crochet thrown in there as well, depending on my mood. The video is going to be about a yarn show that I went to, a yarn party that I went to, and then a little bit, I've got a few bits that I finished recently, and I think that will probably be enough for this one video. I'll try and get this filmed before the rain starts. It's working its way up the valley, and also before the light goes, which at this time of year is a bit tricky, but we'll see how we get on. So the first thing I'm going to talk to you about is a yarn festival called Make Joy. So it was a one-day event in London, in East London, so in Woolwich, and I was helping Johnny at Garthenor on their stand. So we travelled across from Wales, a bit of a trek, but he has family nearby, so we tied it in with a trip to see them. The event was on the Saturday and it was in a venue called Woolwich Works, which is beautiful. So that whole area I think used to be sort of naval. It's right on the Thames, so you looked out the window of the hall we were in onto the Thames, and it was stunning. It was a one-day event full of lots of lovely yarny people. So there were hand dyers, yarn companies, pearlescents were there with all their needles. Alex Collins was there with beautiful bags and accessories. It was a small but really well curated show run by Alison, who is Champagne and Kiviot on Instagram. You may well have heard of her, and she did an amazing job. It was a beautiful event space, and there was room for talks, room for people to hang out and knit, and then the marketplace as well. And it had such a lovely atmosphere. It just felt really, as the name of the show would suggest, full of joy. And it was also nice to meet new customers and see some familiar faces as well. So as I said, I was there with Garthenor, so I helped out on the stand a bit and also had a little wander round. Went for a walk by the river at lunchtime, which was nice to get some fresh air. It was really nice to catch up with lots of friends. So we were next door to Walcott Yarns, which is run by Carmen, who I used to work for at Yarn Story, so I know them and the yarn very well. And then Beverly was working on that stand as well, so it was lovely to catch up with her and have a chat throughout the day. Alex Bird, the designer, came with Liz from Bath, and so we had a lovely chat. And then Jonathan Days was also there. He was on one of the panels that was happening, and so it was nice to see him. I test knit one of his designs earlier in the year, so I had taken that along. It was nice to show him that in person. And yeah, it was just, as I say, really lovely, very chilled, no crowding, no queuing, no mad rushes for vendors or for guests. So yeah, I really hope she runs it again, and if you are in London, I would say it was worth a trip. I had really good intentions of not buying anything at the show, but it's really hard when you're sort of in the same room as it all day, and I caved. So the lovely ladies from Wool Decanted were there. I remember, I think I was working on the Yarn Story stand opposite them at Unravel for one of their first shows, and so it's always nice catching up with them. And I couldn't resist some of their yarn, so I picked up these skeins. I have an idea in my head. We'll see if that's actually what they become, but I just really love these colours together. I got two of the dark grey so that I can do some colour work, something with them. So it's a lovely blend of Polwarth, Romney and Black Shetland, which just means that the colours have this nice sort of ever so slightly heathered. The rain is really coming in now, so I'm not quite sure how well you'll be able to see these colours, or whether my phone is struggling to see anything, but hopefully you can see how nice they are together. The other vendor that I did purchase something from was Alex Collins. We had a nice chat. I don't think I've ever met her in person before, but I've admired her bags for a long time. And since I've been doing a bit more sewing recently and I've been making some project bags, I couldn't really justify buying one of her beautiful designs, but I did spot this. Firstly, I just love the strawberry print, but this is for DPNs. So you know when you've got like a project partway through on DPNs, there's always the risk of the stitches falling off and you're not going to put stitch stoppers on every needle. So this is like a little sort of cozy, like a tea cozy? I'm not quite sure. But you pop your needles in there and then popper them shut, and then it keeps them safe. But yeah, I just really love the print on that. So those were my treats from Make Joy. But yeah, it was a lovely day. Quickest pack up of a show ever. We managed to get everything back into the suitcases and headed on home. So that was a lovely weekend away. And if, as I say, I'm hoping Alison runs it again, and if she does, then definitely keep an eye out for it and try and go. So the other sort of yarny event I've been to since I last filmed a video was the Yarn Story 10-year anniversary party. So Yarn Story is a shop based in Bath in the UK, run by Carmen, and I worked there for 7 years. So it was my first job out of uni. I started off working for, I think I started about 3 days a week, maybe not even that. And I had a studio space as well, so I was weaving. My degree was in textile design in woven fabric for interiors, and then I'd got a graduate studio space, but obviously wasn't making any money, so needed a job, and Carmen took me on. So I worked there, and then that just sort of grew and grew until eventually I became manager, and then I left that 3 years ago? That's flown by. I think it was 3 years ago, to retrain as a florist, which is what I currently do. So it was really lovely to go back and celebrate 10 years of a Yarn Story with Carmen, and then lots of the current team, well, all of the current team, and lots of the past team members were all there, and lots of customers, and we had a lovely evening. It was at Wolf Wine, which is on the same street as the shop. It's a wine bar, and they'd opened up the bar, and then Carmen had ordered these amazing cheese boards and platters. I think they were by Wild Fig, who are another local business. And they were just, you know, beautifully arranged and very yummy as well. So that was a lot of fun. And they did not a challenge, but they offered a raffle ticket for every knitted item that you wore. So you can imagine that over 7 years working there, I had knit quite a few items in a Yarn Story wool. So I took on that challenge, and I wore, I think it was 6 or 7 hats. There is photo evidence, and some shawls. I couldn't find everything that I'd made because some of them are still packed away from the summer, but I took as much as I could, and it paid off because I did win a raffle prize. I got a lovely brooch. So it's a design that she had, I remember from when I first started, but hasn't been in the shop for a long time. We used to have these this octopus design, and it was knitting with all its tentacles. Obviously you get a lot more done if you had 4 pairs of arms. So it was that design on a brooch. So that was a lovely prize. So yeah, it was lovely to catch up with everyone and have a weekend in Bath and just enjoy pottering around. Right, I think I am very rapidly losing the light. So I'm going to try and show you a couple of projects that I finished recently, and then we will call it a day. So the first thing is this, which is a Sophie scarf. Sophie shawl. I think this is the Sophie shawl. It's the bigger one anyway. So I finished this back in the summer, but obviously it was too hot to wear, so it just sort of languished in a project bag with all its ends trailing around. So I sat down yesterday, excuse me, and sewed them all in. So I'm very glad. It took no time at all. I should have done it much sooner, but I've been putting it off. But it is now ready to wear. So it's super, super squishy. It's knit in Knitting for Olive Heavy Merino in Dusky Petroleum Blue. And I really like this yarn. I sometimes find pure merinos to be a bit slippery for my tastes. I think they can look lovely and they give you that drape, but I like my scarves to have a bit more texture to them, and this has that. I mean, it's like a sort of cotton wool blend is how it feels to me, but it is 100% merino, and I just love this colour. Again, you're probably not seeing it at its best, but I am very glad to have that done and ready to wear. The other thing I finished recently is this, which I'm so pleased with. This is the Frame Your Face Cowl by Andrea Mowry. I think I forgot to say, this one's by Petite Knit. I feel like everyone knows it. It's got to be one of the most made patterns this year, last year, whenever it came out. But yes, this one is by Andrea Mowry, Frame Your Face Cowl. So it's the same colourwork design as her Rhinebeck sweater, but in cowl form. So I used the spin cycle, so the colour changing section is Spin Cycle Dream State in the colour Big Sky, and I love it. It's just got all my favourite colours. I hope you can see sort of pinks and oranges and some neon, limey yellows, and then it fades into this light grey. And then I got all the way around, so start here, got all the way around to here, and I didn't have enough, and I knew I wouldn't have enough. It called for 2 skeins of Dream State and I only had 1. So I found this chartreuse yellow 4-ply and held it double just for the last section, because I figured that's going to be at the back and no one will ever really see it. And then the contrast is Sigurd Jensen, and I cannot remember the colour because they're all numbers and I don't remember numbers. So I'm really chuffed with this. I nearly didn't put the twist in, but I'm glad I did because I think it just shows off the colour change. And it's also, being colourwork one, that really benefited from being blocked. It was not very lumpy bumpy. My colourwork's not too untidy, but yeah, it just smoothed it all out. So I'm really pleased with this, and it was a really nice sized project. I reckon like 1 or 2 more repeats and I just started getting bored, but this was lovely, and being knit in the round, it's double thickness, so it's nice and cozy. So yeah, I'm really chuffed with this. It's only the second time I've used Spin Cycle, and it is a treat, but it is a lot of fun seeing how the colours change. So that's that one. And then my most recent, I think this is my most recent cast on and cast off, is this hat. So you might have seen my videos from Rhinebeck and visiting Harrisville, and I picked up this Peace Fleece in the colour Cowl Salmon. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but yeah, it's this lovely sort of orangey pinky, and I knit, I don't remember the name of it. I'll have to put it on screen. I can't look it up because my phone is recording, but it's by Jean-Phillipe, I want to say. I really should have looked that up. But it's this really interesting construction. So it's knit sideways, and then it has a triple folded brim. I'm not going to put it on because I have a hair clip in, but sort of imagine this. I'm sure I'll put some pictures on my Instagram at some point. So yeah, I was very grateful for this. We had power cut the other weekend from Storm Dara, and a lot of chaos ensued around that, but I was warm, so that was lovely. And yeah, really quick knit, worsted weight yarn. I will put the pattern details somewhere. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. It was nice to do a slightly different construction for a hat, kept it interesting, but it's done in 4 sections, so it only took me a couple of evenings. So that was very enjoyable. So that's everything that I have finished recently, which is more than normal. I have just cast on a new vest in the other shade of Peace Fleece that I got, but I will share that with you another time. And then my other sort of work in progress isn't knitting, but is sewing. So this is a quilt top that I have made this week. So it's going to be too big for you to actually see all of it, but it's some beautiful fabric. It's by a German company, but I did find somewhere in the UK that sells it, and I just love the little characters on it. I feel like it's the sort of fabric where you'll see something different every time you look at it. Like there's all the reindeers and Santa, skiing, Father Christmas. This is one of my favourites, like the little toy town design. So I love the fabric, and I only found it a couple of weeks ago, so I was like, right, I just want to keep it simple, enjoyable. It doesn't need to be a complicated patchwork design or hand sewn or anything like that. So I just cut up squares and joined them all together. And then I've got this red polka dot fabric to bind the edge. And then the backing is just going to be, I've got a nice cotton sheet that I don't use anymore. I used to use it for photos and things, for my weaving, but don't need that. So I'm going to use that, save a bit of money on the fabric. So yeah, and then just do some really simple, I'm not going to fully quilt it. I'm just going to do some simple little hand stitching, either crosses or maybe stars because it's festive, at the joins, and see if that's enough. If not, I can always do a little bit in the middle as well. So that is the next thing. It's currently mid-December. We're over, it's Christmas is next week. I don't know how that's happened, but this will be ready for Christmas, I'm determined. I have some gift sewing that I need to do and get in the post, so that's my priority this evening. And then maybe I'll get a bit more done on this tomorrow. So yeah, I feel like I talked very quickly at the end there to try and get done before it goes completely dark. I hope you can see me. Well, I don't really mind if you can see me. Hope you can see the knitting. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. I've been doing a bit of knitting on the circular sock machines as well. So my next video will be all about how I made my first ribbed pair of socks on the sock machine. So I hope you enjoy that one when I edit it. And in the meantime, I've been doing a little sort of advent thing on my Instagram, so I've been sharing a bit of my making every day. So if you want to see that, you can head over there. It's at Anna Untangled, and there's just like a little reel every day of what I've been working on. So there is a bit of sock machine knitting on that if you'd like a little sneak peek. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye. I also realised that I started trying to make the background festive and then forgot to finish it, so you just have this random penguin in the background for the whole video. I hope you enjoyed him. He's, yeah, I think he's really cute, but it's a bit random on his own. There was going to be fairy lights and stuff, but didn't quite get there, so that's why he's there on his lonesome.